The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1861 to 2005 Kansas is part of the famous 50-state quarters program, a historic U.S. Mint initiative that ran from 1999 to 2008 and honored each state in the order they ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union, and the Kansas quarter was officially released into circulation on August 29, 2005, representing Kansas as the 34th state, which explains the dual date 1861 to 2005 on the obverse of the coin, where 1861 marks the year Kansas was admitted to the Union during the turbulent years of the American Civil War, and 2005 marks the year the coin was issued, and on the obverse front of the quarter appears the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan, with the word Liberty, often mistakenly read or written as library, inscribed prominently, symbolizing the foundational American ideal of freedom, along with the national motto, "In God We Trust," which reflects the country's historical acknowledgement of faith and moral guidance, while above Washington's head is United States of America and quarter dollar, indicating the nation of issue and denomination, and the obverse design is shared across all state quarters, creating unity and consistency, while the reverse, back, of the Kansas quarter is unique to the state and features a powerful frontier scene showing a buffalo skull resting on the ground beneath a rising sunflower, which is Kansas's official state flower. And this imagery represents the state's nickname, the Sunflower State, as well as its rugged frontier past, the hardships faced by early settlers, and the transition from untamed prairie to agricultural prosperity, with the buffalo skull symbolizing the massive herds of American bison that once roamed the Great Plains and were central to Native American life before westward expansion dramatically reduced their numbers. And beneath the design appears the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, emphasizing the unity of the states forming a single nation, while the word Kansas is inscribed clearly to identify the state being honored, and the Kansas quarter was struck at multiple U.S. Mint facilities, including Philadelphia, P. Mint Mark, Denver, D. Mint Mark, and San Francisco, S. Mint Mark, with the San Francisco issues typically produced in proof finishes for collectors, and the standard circulating versions are composed of a copper core with outer layers of cupronickel, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, while proof versions were also produced in 90% silver for collectors. And as with all quarters, the coin has a reeded edge to deter counterfeiting, and historically, the Kansas quarter reflects not only the state's admission during a deeply divided era in American history, but also its role in westward expansion, agriculture, and the cultural identity of the Great Plains, making the coin both a functional piece of currency and a miniature historical document. And collectors value the Kansas quarter for its symbolic imagery, its place late in the state quarters series, and its connection to American frontier heritage. While for the general public, it serves as an educational tool, encouraging interest in U.S. history, state identity, and national values, all encapsulated within the inscription's Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, e pluribus unum, and United States of America, which together express freedom, faith, unity, and nationhood, making the 1861 to 2005 Kansas quarter dollar a meaningful representation of both state pride and American identity, in metal form, the next top. The United States quarter dollar, 25 cents, is a coin authorized under the Coinage Act of 1792 and has been used continuously in American commerce for over 2 centuries. By the time the 50-state quarters program began, the quarter had already become one of the most recognizable coins in the world. The goal of the program was to celebrate each U.S. state in the order they were admitted to the Union, with a unique reverse back design honoring each state's identity, history, and values. Idaho, admitted as the 43rd state in 1890, received its quarter in 2007, which explains why the year 1890 is historically linked to the design, even though the coin itself was minted much later. On the obverse front of the Idaho quarter is the familiar portrait of George Washington, based on a design by John Flanagan that has been used on quarters since 1932. Around Washington's portrait appear the standard inscriptions, United States of America, liberty, and in God we trust. The phrase "in God we trust" became a permanent feature on U.S. coins during the 20th century, reflecting the nation's cultural and historical emphasis on faith and moral guidance rather than a specific religion. Also present is "e pluribus unum," a Latin phrase meaning "out of many, one," symbolizing the union of states forming a single nation. This motto dates back to the early days of the United States and has appeared on American coinage since the 18th century. The reverse, back, of the Idaho quarter is where the state's identity truly comes alive. At the center is an outline of the state of Idaho, with the inscription Esto Perpetua prominently displayed. Esto Perpetua is a Latin phrase meaning, "let it be perpetual," or "let it endure forever." This phrase is deeply significant to Idaho and originates from the final words of John H. Gear, a former governor of Iowa, but it was later adopted by Idaho as a powerful statement of endurance, stability, and permanence. In Idaho's context, it reflects the state's rugged landscape, independent spirit, and commitment to preserving its natural beauty and values for future generations. Because of its importance, Esto Perpetua appears on Idaho's official state seal and is widely regarded as the state motto. Also on the reverse are natural elements that define Idaho's identity. The design features a peregrine falcon, Idaho's state raptor, soaring across the coin. The peregrine falcon is one of the fastest animals on Earth and represents freedom, strength, and resilience. Alongside, it is a native plant, often identified as syringa, Idaho's state flower, symbolizing the state's natural richness and ecological diversity. Together, these images emphasize Idaho's reputation as the gem state, known for its unspoiled wilderness, mountains, rivers, and wildlife rather than urban or industrial imagery. The inscriptions Idaho, 1890, and 2007 appear on the reverse. The year 1890 marks Idaho's admission to the Union, while 2007 is the year the quarter was released. The coin was minted at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, and produced in large numbers for circulation, making it common rather than rare. Despite this, it holds strong educational, cultural, and symbolic value, especially for collectors of state quarters and for residents of Idaho. In summary, the Idaho quarter dollar is a modern coin that serves as a historical tribute. While it is not an 1890 coin, it deliberately honors that year as a turning point in Idaho's history. The combined presence of "in God we trust," "e pluribus unum," and "Esto Perpetua" brings together national unity, faith, and state pride in a single piece of circulating currency. It represents how American coins are not just tools of commerce, but also small metal documents of history, carrying language, ideals, and identity across generations. The next top. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 2020, honoring the National Park of American Samoa, is part of the long-running America, the Beautiful Quarters program, a U.S. Mint series authorized by Congress that ran from 2010 to 2021 and featured one national park or protected site from each U.S. state, territory, and the District of Columbia, with the American Samoa quarter being the 56th release in the series and the first coin ever dedicated to this U.S. territory in the Pacific. The coin retains the traditional quarter dollar denomination of 25 cents and the standard specifications of a modern circulating quarter, including a copper-nickel clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, a reeded edge, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams, making it compatible with vending machines and circulation alongside other quarters, while the obverse front of the coin features the familiar George Washington portrait originally designed by John Flanagan. First used in 1932 and restored for the America, the Beautiful series, with inscriptions that include United States of America along the top, liberty prominently displayed, "In God We Trust" positioned to the right of Washington's profile, and the denomination quarter dollar along the bottom, all of which reflect enduring national mottos and constitutional ideals, whereas the reverse back of the coin presents a powerful and culturally significant design depicting a Samoan fruit bat. Mother gently holding her pup while hanging from a tree branch. An image chosen to symbolize both the unique wildlife of the National Park of American Samoa and the importance of family, guardianship, and respect for nature in Samoan culture, as fruit bats, also known as flying foxes, are native to the islands and play a vital ecological role as pollinators and seed dispersers. The reverse design was created by designer Richard Masters and sculpted by Joseph Minna, and includes the inscriptions: National Park of American Samoa, 2020, and E pluribus unum, the Latin phrase meaning out of many, one, which reflects the unity of the United States while acknowledging its diverse states and territories. And the placement of this motto on the reverse reinforces the idea that American Samoa, though geographically distant from the continental U.S., is an integral part of the nation's collective identity. The National Park of American Samoa itself is unique among U.S. national parks because it is spread across 3 islands, Tutala, Ofu, and Ta, and is the only U.S. national park located south of the equator, protecting tropical rainforests, coral reefs, volcanic landscapes, and traditional Samoan villages. And unlike many parks on federally owned land, much of the park exists through agreements with local villages, reflecting the communal land system and strong cultural traditions of the Samoan people. The quarter was minted in Philadelphia, P Mint Mark, Denver, D Mint Mark, and San Francisco, S Mint Mark, with Philadelphia and Denver producing coins for general circulation and San Francisco producing proof and collector versions, including both clad proofs and limited silver proofs, making the coin accessible both to everyday users and to numismatists. And its release in early 2020 also marked a moment of broader recognition for American Samoa within U.S. coinage history, as few circulating coins have ever highlighted U.S. territories outside the continental states. Beyond its monetary function, the 2020 American Samoa quarter serves as a miniature educational artifact, teaching viewers about biodiversity, conservation, Pacific Island culture, and the global reach of the United States, while the combination of inscriptions, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and E pluribus unum ties the coin firmly to American civic values, religious freedom, unity, and shared governance, making it not just a piece of currency, but a compact symbol of history, geography, culture, environmental stewardship, and national identity expressed through metal, design, and tradition in the everyday life of the American people. The next top. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 2021 with the D Mint mark, Denver Mint, featuring Crossing the Delaware, is a historically significant modern coin that served as a one-year transitional design between the long-running America, the Beautiful Quarters program, 2010 to 2021, and the new Washington Crossing the Delaware reverse that bridged into the American Women Quarters program beginning in 2022, and it revives, almost exactly, the original 1932 Washington Quarter reverse by sculptor John Flanagan, making it the first time in nearly 90 years that this classic image returned to circulation. The obverse bears the familiar left-facing bust of George Washington, also by Flanagan, with the inscriptions Liberty at the top, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 2021 at the bottom, while the reverse depicts General George Washington standing heroically in a small Durham boat as he leads the Continental Army across the icy Delaware River on the night of December 26, 1776, a pivotal moment of the American Revolutionary War that preceded the surprise attack on Hessian forces at the Battle of Trenton, a victory that boosted colonial morale and altered the course of the war. On the reverse, the inscriptions include United States of America along the top rim, Crossing the Delaware prominently centered beneath the scene, E pluribus unum just above the waterline, and the denomination quarter dollar at the bottom, all executed in a bold, classical style that contrasts with the landscape-oriented designs of the preceding decade. The D Mint mark indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, and the 2021 D Crossing the Delaware quarter had a large circulation mintage, approximately 245 million pieces, making it common in everyday change yet historically rich and symbolically important. Composed of a standard cupronickel-clad alloy, outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, weighing 5.67 grams, measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and featuring a reeded edge. Although it holds no significant premium in circulated condition, it is widely collected as a type coin, especially in uncirculated, mess, or proof-like condition, and it carries strong educational and patriotic value due to its depiction of one of the most dramatic and mythologized events in U.S. history, representing leadership, perseverance, and national resolve, while also marking the end of the America, the beautiful era, and the return of Washington to the reverse for the final time before the design changed again in 2022, making the 2021 D crossing the Delaware Quarter a fascinating blend of history, art, symbolism, and modern U.S. coinage continuity, all packed into a single, everyday coin.